Okay, on the line with us right now, all the way in Los Angeles, California, here to talk to us about the 4th annual Hilarity for Charity taking place this Saturday, October 17th at the Hollywood Palladium. One of the founders, he's one of the 5 main people who runs this event. I'm told this was actually his brainchild. On the line with us right now, Matthew Bass. Matthew, thank you for being on. And I will say, Matthew, I'm doing this with a sore finger today. Twice over the last 2 days, I've cut my knuckle on my right index finger with a feta cheese container. The same container in the same spot. So I am playing a little hurt today. Are you there? Matt!
Wait, is dead air not a good thing for radio? Just messing with you. I'm sorry to hear about your knuckles.
Thank you.
Are we allowed to curse on this?
Swear away, Matthew. Please swear away.
So I can go into George Carlin's 7 dirty words if I so desire.
If you so desire, it's up to you. It's up to you.
Do you know the 7 dirty words?
No, but I have a computer in front of me, so I could pretend I do if I want to.
You should have pretended like you did and not spoiled it for the audience. They would have been so impressed.
Yeah.
But I can tell you what they are right now. They are shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. What's really interesting about that is when you go through that list, right? Because it was like those are the 7 dirty words you're not allowed to use on television. Obviously, network television and cable are very different, but you can use shit, piss, and tits on, let's say, FX. And you might even be able to say cocksucker. Isn't that crazy?
So it's we've advanced as people over the ages. So what are the other 3?
Motherfucker, fuck, and cunt. I understand cunt. I understand that word.
Where can that be used?
At the mall. In traffic. At the DMV.
Notice neither of us will even say it now that we're talking about it. Okay, so what are the other 2 though? What are the other 2?
What's that?
What were the other 2?
It's shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits.
Motherfucker. Where can you use it?
Yeah, I understand most of those words. I don't understand how tit and piss make that list, which goes to show you how square our culture used to be. That you couldn't say piss on television.
Would they use urine? I'm going to pee. I'm going to do a tinkle.
I'm gonna urinate. I wonder if you're allowed to get cute and be like, I'm gonna go drain the lizard.
Well, Matthew, I'll look it up. If you'll do this again, I'll look it up. I will try to find, next time I talk to you, the first time piss was ever used on television. I will try to find that.
That would be fantastic. And in the meantime, just make sure your viewers, your audience, are up to speed on George Carlin and all of his great bits.
I used to watch, and I refuse to look up anything while I'm doing an interview. If I don't know it, screw me. I used to watch a sitcom he did. I can't remember the name of it, but I used to watch that with my dad. That's all I got.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
If you watch his special he did from UCLA, like sometime in the 70s, there's a few times where the camera cuts to the crowd, and you'll find a beautiful young blonde lady by the name of Nancy Lawson, who would soon become Nancy Bass, my mother, is in the crowd.
Did she like the show?
Love the show. Great show. I mean, he was it, you know. Like, I know we're gonna. This is a fantastic segue into Hilarity for Charity. But I mean, he's one of the greatest stand-ups of all time, you know. And God rest his soul, what we would give to have him at our show, you know. Like, every year we always go into the conversation being like, all right, how are we going to get Rock or Seinfeld or CK or, like, you know, those A-listers? And it's a shame because we'd love to throw Colin's name in that mix, you know?
I'm actually a little disappointed, Matthew. You didn't let me go for the segue. You didn't have enough faith in me that I would pull that off.
I'm helping you out, man.
Awesome.
I have total faith in you. I have total faith in you. But you know, I'm your guest and I'm your co-host.
Absolutely.
Right now, we should call somebody up right now.
I only know how. Yep.
Oh, you don't know how to do three-way?
No, I do not know how to do a three-way in every way imaginable, I guess.
In every facet of life. Well, you should figure that out because you should definitely be looping people in three-way and not telling them they're being interviewed until the end.
And just see how it goes, eh?
We should just be prank calling people. I feel like we've really lost the art of prank call. And what's great is that when you call someone, it comes up as an unknown number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you answer the phone to an unknown number, then you deserve to be pranked.
It's game on, is it not? It's game on.
It's total game on. You have like walked into the Terror Dome and it's like, bring it, because you don't answer the phone when it says unknown or private.
What Matthew's talking about is when I call people, it says, you had it just now, it says unknown number. So, you know what, Matthew? I'm sure this can do a three-way call. I just don't know this moment, but maybe next time, maybe in the future. Okay. Yeah,
well, you should study it, or you should use your next call as your guinea pig and not do it for me.
Well, I'm actually interviewing, I believe, we'll get into Hilarity for Charity now, Matthew, Tom Cole. I'm going to be interviewing her tomorrow, I think. I don't think I should do that with her, the first three-way call.
Why not? It'd be hilarious. Tom's a trooper.
All right.
She'll nail it. She'll nail it.
She could take a laugh. She could handle a laugh there.
Absolutely. That's why she's on the board of Hilarity for Charity.
Awesome. So, Matthew, I want to get into Hilarity for Charity. I interviewed Lauren Miller Rogan yesterday, and she actually said that you were the one who came up with the original idea. I want to just ask you about that right now. A variety show. So, over the phone in an interview like this is a fun way to do it. What did you come up with? What was the original thought here for Hilarity for Charity? And where did Matthew Bass come up with the word variety show? That also has me going.
What, you don't think my vocabulary has those words, variety and show, and I can't put them together?
Why did you think of a variety show? Like, what was your inspiration for a variety show?
I'll tell you, the inspiration was the Rat Pack. You know, like when they had that run of shows in Vegas, and it was like these like, what was it, 5 guys. They would get together and there'd be a bar on stage and they would tell stories and they would dance and they would sing and they would just joke around with each other and they would pick on Sammy Davis for being black, you know, whatever they were up to. And I was like watching something on YouTube years ago, just being like, man, like that's what we should see now. Like I would love to go to a charity event of sorts. But it's like that. It's like a bunch of A-listers that's drunk together having a great time, putting on a show for a great cause. The problem was I didn't have a cause. You know, there's no massive diseases in my family, although several Bass men have succumbed to heart issues. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure heart disease should be something I should be concerned about. But, you know, like we had, like, there was, like, a little bit of breast cancer, but, like, not really, and, you know, we never had any of those big diseases. I was like, it's so hard to, like, come up with a cause when you just, like, don't care about anything, and I don't really care about anything. And then, you know, Seth and Lauren came out about her mother. And I know they had attended a couple charity events for Alzheimer's. And when they described them to us, they just sound like the most boring things ever. Like, it's obviously an old person's disease, and these events are garnered around old people. And, 60, 70 years old, and like that level of entertainment and that level of comedy or music or whatever they're going to do at these events. And it just doesn't work for Seth and Lauren. And the thing we talked about is it's no longer an old person's disease. Like Lauren's mother was diagnosed in her 50s. And it's like, we need to raise awareness for people like us. Like you guys, when you're going to go to an Alzheimer's event, your friend should want to come with. And then one day, Tom and I were hiking up the famed Runyon Canyon of Los Angeles, California. And we just started talking, and I shared her this idea I had, and she was like, "You should totally talk to Lauren and see if she's into it." And I talked to Lauren, and she was like, "That's amazing. Let's absolutely do that." And we got the Alzheimer's Association behind us to kind of support, and we had no idea what we were doing. And the first event came together very last minute, because what the hell do we know? We had an A-list lineup, and it was a massive success, and it was supposed to be just like a one-time event. But it was so great. It was like, oh, wow, shit, let's do this again. So we went and we did it the second year. And after that year, at that point, we realized that we really tapped into something much bigger here. And it's no longer just a variety show. It's now a movement. And Hilarity for Charity was really born from that. And now we're doing events, smaller events on college campuses across the U.S. and Canada, where students can call in or can email us, and then we send them a toolkit that allows them to sign up and build their own event. And then the campus that raises the most amount of money, Seth goes to their campus and hangs out with them for an afternoon. So,
yeah, Matthew, my question is,
great.
Back to when it started, it was in New York the first year, or was that the second year?
It was in New York in year 3.
Okay, year 3. Okay, so way off. I'll just avoid talking about that.
Way off, yeah.
Who was the first...
Stick what you know.
Yeah, just hey, I tried. Who was the first celebrity who said yes, who you look back and said, okay, it's going now? Like, who was... Does that question make sense? Like, who was the first one you guys reached out to, said yes, and you were like, okay, we have something here? Did that moment happen?
That moment did not happen. I mean, I guess you could say that it was Seth. It was as soon as Seth said, like, this is something I want to do and something I'm going to support, then that opens it up because, we obviously have him doing the outreach sometimes directly. Like in year 1, like Paul Rudd was one of the co-hosts, and Seth was able to reach out to Paul and been like, hey, man, do you want to do this? And for this year, where we have Miley Cyrus, Seth and Lauren have developed a very nice, loving friendship with Miley Cyrus. And Seth was able to reach out to her, and Tom is very good friends with her manager, who is also on our committee. So it all just worked out, and it's all it's because we have Seth. It's his face. So I guess that is the most important celebrity we got, if that answers your question.
Awesome. Matthew, I have been asking everybody. I asked Evan 2 days ago because she was on the Cameo the night before, and Lauren yesterday. Everybody has said, because she's in the news, so I'm doing it, everybody has said wonderful things, nothing but great things about Miley Cyrus. Yeah,
I mean, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting her, but everything I hear is nothing but positive. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see the shtick she brings to the show. Like, is she going to show up as just like Miley, and she's going to come and hang out and just like, bust out a couple songs and say, hey, thanks, for having me, fuck Alzheimer's? Or is she going to do the whole spectacle with the costumes and like like her public persona? So I'm curious to see how it all is going to unfold.
Yeah, Matthew, what have been some of the past great moments at Hilarity for Charity for you in all the years?
I mean, Bruno Mars was pretty great. He even did a little rendition of Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On," and as a Canadian, my heart did go on in that moment. We had Kevin Hart a couple years ago. Fantastic. He came out. He opened the show, and for the first like 6 or 7 minutes, it was just like his well polished, well rehearsed material. And then he just took out his cell phone and he was like, "What jokes do I have that are funny?" And he just started scrolling through his phone and essentially freestyling the rest of his bit, which was very cool to kind of be in the room when he's essentially breaking his material, And there's two very interesting things about comedy is that you can go and you can see someone like Aziz when he's at Madison Square Garden, and it's just 60 minutes of like every breath he has is perfected, Whereas you can then go and see Aziz at the Comedy Store, and he has nothing, and he's just trying out material, and you get to see him work his way up to 60 minutes. And I think that's a really fascinating thing about comedy. Like you don't see like Snoop Dogg going to House of Blues and just trying out 10 songs and being like, okay, those songs suck. Here's where I got to work on them. Here's where the crowd was going crazy. Like he's not working his music. He just sits in the studio, comes up with his 10 songs, puts them out on an album, and hopes they do well, right? Whereas the comedian, you can be Chris Rock and you can go and get booed, which is crazy. You can be heckled.
Well,
you got to start from somewhere.
Yeah, and Matthew, let's just segue into the comedy. Just for laughs, something I love to do every year out in Montreal. You've come a couple times. You got to do Hilarity for Charity out there last year, not the one that just happened. So I guess 2013, we'll call it. Tell us about putting that whole thing together, and now that you've come out of it, what are your thoughts about how it went at Just for Laughs in Montreal, the Hilarity for Charity there?
It was great. I mean, it's definitely been our biggest show to date. I believe the venue held something like 2,500 people. We usually dabble in the 800 mark. Although this year we're going up to, I believe, 1,100. And also, having the Just for Laughs crew is like the amount of money they put into that show compared to what we put in is, massive. So the production value was so much bigger and grander, which just really made for an awesome show. So it was, it gives you goosebumps to look out and see, 2,000 people gathered for a cause.
Well, and also you got to see that
for all of us.
Yeah, and also you got to see it on TV a bunch of times, getting the word out that way too. Correct? It was aired here nationally a bunch of times, right?
It was, yeah, which was great, and we made a little extra money from the donations that we got off of that, and obviously it drove a lot of traffic to our website. So we're just able to constantly spread that awareness.
And the one I want to ask you there about PK Subban, it's been a long time. How did you get him? How did that go down?
He was a big fan of Seth's, and he obviously, being a Montrealer, was in town, and he's a fan and a friend of the festival, and the festival was able to reach out and say, "Hey man, do you want to do a bit with Seth?" And he, yeah, totally, let's do it. And he was so gracious and so awesome, and they drank from this family cup together. Although it actually pissed off a lot of Canadian fans. Canadians with an E for the Montreal Canadian fans, thought that he had jinxed the team.
Right.
But you'll notice he doesn't really drink or touch the cup. So he was, but the Twitter accounts, the tweets that the kids were putting out that day, there's a lot of anger when those photos surfaced.
Hilarity for Charity was getting negative tweets that day, or PK Subban, or what?
Both. Hilarity, Seth, and PK. Like, how could you can't do this. You can't desecrate the Stanley Cup.
You can hear where they're coming from, Matthew. You, as a Canuck fan, you know what they're saying there, right? Like,
I mean, like, technically, well, first of all, the Canucks have never won a Stanley Cup, and they have, 23, so they can go fuck themselves. So don't complain to us. And your last cup was in 93, so it wasn't that long ago. The internet was invented technically at that time, so don't complain to us. We're just raising money for charity.
There you go. Matthew Bass with us right now. Matthew, plug the website, all that stuff for Hilarity for Charity.
HilarityForCharity.org. What's our Twitter is Hilaire for Charity. That's 4 with the number 4. We tweet some good stuff. Our Facebook is Hilarity, the number 4 Charity, and our Instagram is Hilarity for Charity, FOR. Awesome. I don't think anyone got that. I don't think anyone wrote that down. I don't think we're going to get a single new follower based off what I just said. I don't think we're going to get a single like on anything.
But I'm not editing it out. I'm not editing it out.
Yeah, no, please don't. And also for those listening, click here. Are they clicking? Is there a button? Can they click right here?
No.
Click right where my voice is. Right where my voice comes out, click.
I don't know how to do that yet.
I don't know how to do that either. But we should figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So put that on the list. Put that on the list after figure out 3-way call and have a threesome.
Threesome first.
Yeah. How long do you think it's going to take to accomplish that list?
It's been a while.
Hey, if the Blue Jays win the World Series, the streets of Toronto might be going a little crazy.
Yeah, big game tonight.
I
got it. Well, now since I just said big game tonight, it means I have to get to editing this so I can get it up before the game. I'll say that right now. That's it.
That's your goal.
Yeah. I've said it now.
Hey, Mr.ShoBiz.
What's up?
What are you having for lunch today?
I already had lunch today.
What did you have for lunch?
I had toast with feta cheese.
A what?
Toast with feta cheese and some cottage cheese. I don't have much food right now.
What's in your fridge right now? Are you at home?
Yeah, I'm at home. Of course I'm at home. Where else would I be?
Can you open your fridge and give us a tour of what's inside it?
Okay. I'm going to have to walk. Okay, how am I coming in?
Please,
can you hear me?
Yeah, please talk the audience through what's going on right now.
All right. So we're in my kitchen, which is a total disaster. I bought yesterday, Matthew. I have them. I wish I could show them. It's these like super floss things. You like hold them and pick the teeth with the thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the thing with the thing in the floss, totally.
Yeah. Hold on. All right, so we're going into the fridge, and I have to clean up my apartment because I have some Airbnb guy moving in tomorrow. So.
Oh wait, we should be plugging your Airbnb right now.
Okay.
Or should we not be talking about it because your landlord's going to listen to this and then you're going to be kicked out of the building?
Yeah, exactly. And I've already got enough issues going on with that. Okay, in the freezer, I got about 4 cubes or 6 cubes of ice and an unopened bag of edamame. You get that?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
In the fridge, I've got a Brita, which might have enough for a cup. Some milk, jam, kosher mustard, baking soda, gluten-free bread, margarine, some eggs, and once again, that feta cheese, which has cut my finger 2 days in a row.
Why don't you buy pre-grated cheese?
Well, no, normally I go to Kensington Market to buy my cheese. But this day, I just happened to go buy some feta.
Right.
So I got feta. What's wrong with having some feta every now and then?
Isn't it feta?
Maybe. I don't know.
Let's get fancy. Let's get culinary.
I don't know. I'll write that down for next time too. Feta or feta?
Let's just slowly convert this into a food blog.
Working my way with a big appetite, fat stomach, and Crohn's disease through the streets of Toronto.
Perfect.
What can we do? So that's what. But understand,
Hey.
I have the Airbnb guy moving in tomorrow, so I really shouldn't have much food in my fridge. You see?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you like leave a chocolate on the pillow?
Well, this guy, I'm going to say it was really bad at communicating, so I'm not really leaving him much.
Do you ever like hide funny props around the house to freak him out?
I once bought these two girls a pumpkin pie.
What about like a dildo?
A what?
Like hide a dildo somewhere, like somewhere where like they would stumble upon it and be really freaked out.
But I
and
could say,
not
but
freak out.
I could be like,
or do like a knife with like fake blood.
and I could be like, why were you looking there? Right?
Yeah. Get like a fake gun and put it in like a Ziploc bag under the bed and write evidence on the bag.
to get rid of.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, you touched the bag? On you now, bitch.
Yeah. Don't you wish you threw it out now?
I've cleaned that thing off pretty good. Oh, awesome stuff. All right, Maddie. So
we're done? This is it?
I think so. What I'm going to do...
I think so. I think we should end it on the high note of you planting evidence of a murder weapon in your apartment.
Oh, the game is on. The game is on. All right, so Matthew Bass with us right now. So Maddie, I'm going to cut this into... This is still part of the show here. I'm going to cut it into a bunch of pieces and then put out one big one. You like that idea?
Sure. But what are the pieces going to be?
Well, we'll do the first bit with that talk. Then we'll do the Hilarity for Charity and this one.
Oh, so there's going to be a bit just on how to freak out Airbnb guests?
Well, it'll be about 10 minutes. Everything post Hilarity for Charity to this moment. Yes. Whatever in there. Whatever in there.
Okay, so we just like keep talking?
Well,
how many people do you think are listening to this right now?
Who actually made it? Well, what?
Yeah, like how many people do you think? Like I'll tweet it and we'll put it on Facebook and like our friends will be like, oh my god, like Bass and Wiener are doing a fucking podcast, and they'll listen to it and they'll start listening. Do you think anyone is listening at this point?
Well, I'll say yes. You could go to that YouTube. It tells you, hey, on YouTube when you do audience retention. I bet
it tells you where people drop out.
Oh yeah, it gives you the whole chart. It starts at 100%, and it even will go to 110 if people have listened to the whole thing and gone back and listened to more. Like sort of they liked it and then they went back.
So there is a true. So when the coach goes, you got to give 110%. He's talking about a successful YouTube page.
YouTube posts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it hasn't. There's
so
some
who
guy.
Who do you think is listening at this point? Do you think do you think like my brother's listening at this point, or do you think he's given up?
There's no way your brother's listening at this point.
There's do you think Sammy Goldman is listening at this point?
If we could get Sammy Goldman, we get the country. If we get Sammy Goldman, we get the country. He's that guy.
Should we just be? Do you think like if we plugged Boysko right now, that it would encourage him to listen? Because when you're in Vancouver and you need a hip pair of jeans, there's nowhere better than Boysko. I just got you a sponsor.
Sammy, at the 32-minute mark.
should we just start plugging other products to see if we can like I could talk about how I just washed my laundry with Tide and it was fantastic. And it smells great and everything's clean. And then you can tweet and then send a tweet to Tide and be like, there was a mention of you. We're not going to tell you where, but you just got to listen.
Yeah, and a positive mention. We give it the Mr.ShoBiz Matthew Bass guarantee.
Do you think your brother's going to make it this far?
Hell no. Hell no.
Do you think your brother's going to get 90 seconds in?
No. Aiden will.
No?
Aiden will.
What about your mother?
Definitely not.
Definitely not? I bet you we could probably get my girlfriend like 25 minutes in.
Ooh, that's amazing. Okay.
That's if she's bored. If she has nothing else to do in her life, she might get to 25 minutes.
I've got like a sprained ankle. I can't even really get off the couch right now, you know? Like
What about Kevin Libben? Do you think Kevin Libben is listening?
We might be able to get Kevin Libben. But you'd know more
than
than
By the way, if we actually got random strangers listening at this point, we've definitely lost them. As soon as I mentioned my Jewish friend from Camp Atikva, done. They're out.
That's not how you keep an audience, hey? That's not how you keep an audience.
That is not how you keep an audience. They don't want to hear about how Kevin fell off a bunk at 8 years old and broke his arm.
No, they don't.
No.
All right. Well, we're going to find out, though, Matthew, because I am going to post it. We will give it 2 weeks. I'd actually like to have you on again when I'm back from Los Angeles, for example. And then we could see. We'll go over, and it'll even tell you, if we get enough views, it'll even tell you geographically where people were watching it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wait, watching? Are you filming this right now?
No, it's actually going to be...
What you should actually do is film your half of the interview. So it's like you sitting on the couch in your underwear eating chips with a fedora. You shouldn't be eating chips. That's not good for audio.
I had the fedora on at the start, like a kind of a, I don't know what you call it, a check mark or a plaid, and a green pair of sunglasses, but I actually threw them off. I'm in nothing but my boxers right now. Nothing but.
That makes me very happy.
I started with a yellow shirt that I sleep in, boxers, the hat, and the glasses. Now I'm simply down to the boxers. That's it.
So by the time we hang up, you'll be totally naked.
At this pace. Well, I'm not going to do it because I'm where I do this, I'm looking right up against my window, and people, if they look up, could see me. So I don't really, I don't need to do that.
All right, fantastic. Let's end this interview.
All right, Matthew Bass with us.
All right.
We'll end it on that. All right, Maddie, thanks a bundle. We'll see. We'll in 2 weeks we will check in and see how many hits this thing got. So there you go.
All right, perfect.
All right.
Perfect.